Hi everyone, I'm Sean and that's Andrew, and we're here from Splash Page, a YouTube channel that covers everything Invincible. Today we're here to talk about episode 5, That Actually Hurt, which I thought was an excellent episode. We're first going to dive into the relationship between Mark and Amber and what goes on in this episode between the two.
And before we do that, make sure you stick around. We'll be giving away a copy of Issue 19, which this episode was basically based off of.
Yeah, the first appearance of Battle Beast, which if you've seen the episode, and I'm hoping if you're watching this video you've already seen the episode, is the best character in the whole wide world. So throughout the episode, Mark and Amber are kind of missing connections as far as being able to go on dates and do the things they planned, and it's 100% Mark's fault. Amber obviously does not know that Mark is invincible, so when his lame excuses come through that he's unable to make a date or that he's late, obviously she's very upset and very suspicious. In the comic, Amber actually suspects Mark of being a drug dealer, and conveys those fears to both William and to Adam Eve, but they quickly say that that's obviously not the case.
They don't actually say that. They literally laugh in her face as Mark shows up with a black eye and then leaves immediately. Yeah.
The thing about Mark, though, is obviously he does really love Amber, and he does a lot of nice, sweet things for her, but obviously is missing out on these dates and these plans that they had.
Well, it really goes to show the superhero trope of the secret identity is not all that easy to keep.
Yeah, it's
not
true.
so much putting on a pair of glasses, missing the train a couple days a week, and pretending to be a klutz, and nobody notices that you're Superman.
Right.
Because it's hard to hide secrets from people when you're not constantly thinking about it all the time. Hiding a secret identity would be a full-time job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so let's just quickly go through the dates and what he was doing, why he missed them. So the first one is he is 20 minutes late for a date. He's outside the school. He brings her a cheesecake. Doesn't really give an explanation of why he's late. The second date, he texts her as he's fighting a few villains, and I'll let you, Andrew, go through who they are. And essentially says, I got hit by something, I can't make it tonight. And she's cool with it, but she does remind him that Thursday is an important date because he's meeting her mother.
Right, and in that shot, he was fighting a villain that I like to call Partial Chewbacca, but apparently Corey Walker called her Roarface based off a description in the script. That collar around her throat stops her from becoming all werewolf, which is a really fun backstory for a character that really doesn't come up at all in the episode.
Right, yeah.
And then he saves some people from that collapsing building, which is shot directly out of the book as well.
Yes. He then does show up 2 hours late to the dinner with Amber's mother, which I'm surprised Mark was able to not get dumped for. But I feel like he had a pretty good excuse. He just is not able to tell her why.
Yeah, well, he was up in space with his father. Stop the asteroid.
And then we end the episode with them in the soup kitchen-esque area volunteering. And obviously Adam Eve gets a call that Mark has been savagely beaten, and then just tries to tries to reassure Amber that Mark does love her without spoiling who Mark is.
Now, real quick, has nothing to do with the story, but if you noticed in the soup kitchen, that little girl from episode 1 that was hanging out with Martian Man while he was stretching across the floor was hanging out in the soup kitchen.
Nice catch.
Yeah, she doesn't have Martian Man to hang out with anymore, I guess.
Aw. All right, next, the next topic. Let's jump into Debbie's storyline throughout the episode, and this one is
that's fun.
Yeah, and this one's hopefully going to be a little quick, just because we didn't get much, but it said a lot. First off, I will admit I was wrong. I said it was a videotape. It is Darkblood's notebook, which makes way more sense.
Yes.
Yeah. So Debbie is in the closet, pulls out some linens. The book falls down. She picks it up. Kind of instantly realizes what it is because you see the breath come out of her mouth. So there's the essence.
The breath comes even with just the magic of the book.
Yeah, the essence or whatever of Darkblood, certainly still in the room. and she immediately hides it from Nolan, reads through it in the bathroom with the door locked, and then is able to send Nolan on a little task to pick up, some dinner from France and from Italy and a few places in Europe, and basically knows how long that'll take him. So she searches the house for Nolan's costume and is eventually
And here's why Debbie is a genius. She knows how long it takes him to get certain places and had that map all laid out with, okay, he's going to go here, it'll take 20 minutes, 10 minutes over there, it'll take 5 minutes and back. Yeah.
And then,
anyway.
that quickly, she does find his costume, but is unable to do anything with it in this episode. Yeah, also the book looked really familiar with the stretched face on it. Is that like the Book of the Dead from The Night of the Living Dead or something like that?
And then there's a little cameo by the principal of the school, which we finally get to meet, the Reginald Vell Johnson High School, Principal Winslow, who is drawn to look just like Carl Winslow from Family Matters, and surprise, is voiced by Reginald Vell Johnson, who played Carl Winslow on Family Matters. So there's that fun tie-in.
Excellent little Easter egg. Really like that. Next, let's go to the crux of the story, the Titan storyline, where we meet Titan, who is voiced by Mahershala Ali, and his powers is he has the ability to build rock around himself. So think kind of like the Thing from the Fantastic Four. He is essentially a paid henchman, and he is running around the city taking care of certain businesses bosses putting him up to. So at first he breaks up a gang lair. Then he burns down a house for, hiding things from the police. You can see that he is a good person underneath. He does have a close relationship with his wife and his daughter. When he burns down the house, people that were living in it, he does try to give them some money to get them back on their feet. Then he breaks into a lab and he steals a chip, which we don't know what this is about until he gets back to his boss's headquarters, Machine Head, and gives him the chip.
We learned that chip gave Machine Head quantum probabilities, which I looked up quantum probability and learned enough to know that I will never know what a quantum probability is. But that's not what Machine Head meant when he said those words. I just want to put this out there. Andrew's law of animated science. When the plot of an animated narrative requires a character to know something they otherwise would have no reason knowing, you can explain it using a sufficiently complicated scientific sounding phrase that, when researched, brings up topics too complex for the average animation viewer. Usually with words like quantum in front of it. So, like quantum probability, quantum statistics, quantum toilet, quantum staircase. You could basically just change the word quantum for magic, and it basically means, I don't know how it works and it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. I also love how they auto-tuned Machine Head's voice to really make him sound like a machine, or like, a robot. Super funny, but little nice touch. Really, really enjoyed that. Machine Head is like a typical gangster kingpin type.
Except that his head is a machine.
Except that his head is a machine, yep. And Titan believes he is out of the debt that he owes Machine Head, which we don't find out why exactly he was in debt. We assume it has to do something with his daughter or his family. And Machine Head refuses to let him out of his service because he's just too good at what he does. So we get to a certain point in the story where Titan thinks he needs to get out. And his only way of doing that is getting a partnership with Mark. So he gets Mark's attention, and they devise a plan to take down Machine Head.
And in the show, he got his attention by painting his name on the top of a building, but in the books, he got his attention by demolishing a building that was set for demolition, further showing he's like, yeah, I'll do bad things, but I'm trying not to hurt too many people at the same time.
Right. So Titan and Invincible decide to execute their plan the same night that Mark has his date with Amber at the soup kitchen. And they go in. The key to their plan is that Isotope, who has the ability to teleport, is not going to be there. So they enter the building, take out some guards, and confront Machine Head and let him know that it's over and that he's certainly out of his league when it comes to fighting people like Titan and like Invincible. But Machine Head has other plans.
Yeah, well, Machine Head might not be able to physically fight Titan and Invincible, He does have a quantum probability chip in his head and a lot of money, so he's able to teleport in a handful of other villains that are also on his payroll, which they weren't named in the show, which I enjoy that they just exist in the show. But in the book, they were named, and that guy, that yellow guy that was fighting Red Rush in the first episode, who can shoot lightning, that guy's name is Kursk. There's a guy who looks like Furnace. His name's Furnace.
Good name, apt name.
Yeah. The guy with all the strings coming out of his stomach, that's Tether Tyrant. He has the power to make strings come out of his stomach. and the fiery guy, his name is Magmaniac. He is made out of magma. And of course, there's Battle Beast, the giant cat-looking creature that beat the shit out of everyone else in the room.
Yeah.
Dropped off the list from the comic, of course, was another character called Magmaniac, who I believe his powers had something to do with magnets. He was dropped because it was too confusing in the show, production issues, and I think because his name sounds too much like Magmaniac.
Right, and they didn't even end up using the name, so what does that matter?
Yeah.
But yeah, and I mean, this battle is absolutely brutal. I think it might be my favorite set piece of the show so far. We have Mark Titan battling these 4 or 5 different bad guys, as well as Isotope showing up, so he's witnessing all of it. So their plans are completely foiled. And then we get a scene where Mark is hit with Battle Beast's mace, hammer, object, and flies through the roof. And we get this really lightning quick, out of focus view of the fact that Nolan is watching in on what's happening, but at no point does he involve himself, or does he go in to help.
Yeah, he's making a point here from the family dinner earlier in the episode where he said, "Do not do this. Titan's using you, and it's a bad idea." I think he's trying to make a point here of not involving himself.
Right, but I do believe he didn't leave him completely high and dry, because we do find out that Cecil got an anonymous tip to send the new Guardians of the Globe to help in the battle. So Rexplode, Robot, Black Samson, Shrink Ray, and Duplikate all show up and enter the fray and enter the battle. You know, we're not going to break down each and every hit, but essentially the end of the battle is pretty close to what happens in the comic, in the sense that Battle Beast just absolutely dominates Mark.
Played by the one and only Michael Dorn, who is fantastic whenever it comes to a really tough character. He was Worf in Star Trek, so that's that same kind of that strong character.
In the end, Battle Beast essentially says, "Killing you guys is not worth my time, and I'm out of here," and steps through a portal. Exactly what happens in the comics.
Yep.
The difference is, in the comics, it's just Mark, I believe, fighting Battle Beast. There's not the Guardians of the Globe inclusion, but with the Guardians of the Globe inclusion, we have Black Samson getting pulverized and breaking his hand. We have Monster Girl getting her face smashed with 2 rocks, and we have Mark just absolutely annihilated.
Yeah. And Monster Girl, we actually see her skull, which is... I'm now interested how that works, because when she reverted back to human form, that kind of disappeared and fixed itself. So
right,
I mean,
but
she's still not in good shape.
Absolutely.
And this was one of my favorite stories for slightly different reasons than Sean's. I love the reveal at the end where Titan was not doing this just to take down Machine Head. He was doing this to take Machine Head's place. That turn with Isotope as his number 2. So there was some backstabbing going on there and some pre-planning where Titan is not as stupid as we may or may not have thought he was in his planning. Everything he wanted happened exactly the way he wanted it to happen.
Then we have a scene with the living Mauler twin and his newly created clone. They wake up and they start doing Mauler twin stuff, and Robot comes into the room. They start by attacking him until they realize that Robot is the reason they're able to be out of jail. And Robot asks them for a favor. However, he does say he'll pay them for it, and gives them a vial of blood, which we know from episode 3, I think it is, that is blood stolen from Rexplode, and he wants basically them to build him a new body. Then in the post-credit scene, we have Donald going up the elevator to what I'd assume is a room that not many people know of, and people are doing experiments on a blood sample they took from Mark. You hear them talk about how resilient the Viltrumite blood is, and it only leads you to believe that essentially they are looking for a way to be able to kill Nolan and or Mark, just so they have that failsafe in case something goes wrong, in case they have to talk to Nolan and confront Nolan about killing the Guardians of the Globe. Alright, well thanks everyone. Appreciate you watching this video and watching all of our videos about Invincible. We will keep making these and our preview videos each week as Invincible comes out. We're also looking for new shows to cover, so if you guys have any thoughts or any shows you want us to cover, put it down in the comments. We are also doing that giveaway once we hit 100 subscribers. I think we're about halfway there, so thank you to everyone who's already subscribed. To be entered, all you need to do is leave a comment, like a video, and obviously be subscribed. So please do that. Invincible 19, first appearance of Battle Beast. As you saw in this episode, Guy is awesome. The comic value is going to skyrocket after that. So thank you, everyone. We'll talk to you soon.